Alright, we are live, everybody. I'm Arbega. It's Sunday afternoon here in North America. It is Sunday evening in the UK and in Europe. And this is our first official broadcast of the European tier. We just started this thing up a couple weeks ago. And we got quite a few drivers signed up for the season. It's going to kick off next week at the same time. So it'd be 5 p.m. in North America, 10 p.m. in UK time. First official race will be next week. This one's just an exhibition. So tonight we're going to run Monza, as most of ZOR at this point has already run the Italian Grand Prix. So these guys will be running it as an exhibition this evening. All right, let's see if anybody gets out early. These guys putting their setups in at the moment. I hear a car firing up at the moment. Weather looks a little cloudy. Definitely overcast for sure. So everybody out on the softs early. Maybe there's a threat of rain early on. Maybe someone can let me know in the comments. Heavy rain. Coxie says heavy rain. Great. Good news. So we got General Porter out on track. Who else is out there in front of him? It's going to be a bit of a learning curve tonight. RC's just in front. Looks like they're going out for a slipstream tandem there. But yeah, going to be a little tricky for me tonight. Just learning everybody's cars and a lot of new names. I'm probably going to mess up a couple of them. Do my best. If anybody has any issues, they can correct me in the chat. But I think I'll be flying solo tonight. We didn't really line up a second commentator, and we're already on the air, so that's probably it. Yeah, Wayne, Coxie there. Heavy rain. Spicy. So is RC in front? He's giving Porter the tow at the moment. Looks like it, yeah. We've got an Alfa Romeo tucked in just behind them as well. So that'll either be Zenith or Zamoglis. Let's take a quick peek. I believe it is Zamoglis. So get back to RC. He's just coming around the Paravolca right now. He'll be crossing the start-finish line to start his first hot lap of the EU season. Obviously, this race doesn't count. Once again, just tuning in. Just an exhibition race, but we're going to treat this one like it's for real tonight. Make sure everybody gets on the same page. And yeah, next season will be for real. We got a lot of talented drivers in here tonight. Raced with a few of these guys in the past, and a lot of them... a lot of the faster guys in Tier 1 and Tier 2 have raced with some of these guys, some of these new guys that are strictly EU drivers, and a lot of them are quite fast, so it's going to be a very competitive tier. Most seem to think there's a couple clear front runners, one of them not here tonight, the other being Gilzo, but we'll see if anybody else in the mix can pose a challenge to them this year and maybe surprise a few people. There's no guarantees in this game, you know. It's just if you even have a relatively decent rival behind you, you make a mistake in a race and you can lose 20, 30 seconds to him, and there's no way you're making it up. Beck is out of the session. It looks like he has lost it somewhere in the second sector there through the Lesmos. I believe he's in the Mercedes. Yeah, Beck is out of the session. You can see the Mercedes on the map there. RC crosses the line 19.9, so already into the 19s early on. Something that's definitely going to be necessary tonight, I feel. We didn't see too many guys in Tier 2 make it into the 19s at Monza, but a few did in Tier 1, so it should be quite interesting. RC setting the bar early. A lot of guys have failed to even come close at this point. We've got Smitsky, JXW, Zenith, they've all put hot laps on the board. So we've got a Toro Rosso coming across the line. I was at Lamaro's, just put up a time, 120.8. It's a pretty good time from him. But most of these guys will be pretty disappointed to see how far behind they are RC at the moment. RC obviously has the advantage of having just run this track a couple weeks ago and probably even in the Gilzo 19.7. So yeah, just what I was saying. It's one of the favorites. One of those Haas cars, JFD, I think has just crossed the line, 120.4. Looks like we have a Williams coming down the back straight towards the barrel ball. Is that Rob 2K? It is. We'll get on board with Rob 2K. He is a full-time reserve rocking that Senna helmet. He'll be one of the top reserve drivers in second place, 19.8, so mixed in there between RC and Gilzo. He'll be one of the top reserve drivers in the EU tier. I signed up a little late. All the seats were already given out, but as soon as one becomes available, Rob will be able to slide into that. So any points he earns over the next few weeks, he'll be bringing with him once he ends up finding his full-time seat. All right, so look at that map. Looks like a few guys coming in going slow. Let's get to the Mercedes there coming towards Bag of Bones. A few of these guys are our stewards as well, so they've been on board with us for quite a bit of time now, and we finally strung something together so that they can get out on track and race as part of our community. So happy to see these guys here tonight. Crucio has joined us recently, very excited to be here as well. Just looking for a good, clean league to race in, and he's been quite excited to get his season underway and his career underway here at Zenith Online Racing. So we've got another Haas that is coming into the pit lane. Looks like everybody else going quite slow. I don't know if that pink car Racing Point is coming through. Looks like Porter is just starting his hot lap. He's coming around to start it. Check if that Bone's still pushing. I doubt it. No. I'm on a Red Bull. Smitsky or Crucio? Crucio. They're not pushing either. So let's get back to General Porter. Just starting his hot lap. So he's got a bit of traffic just ahead, not something he'd be wanting to see. Luckily, this track's pretty easy to stay out of the way if you're not on a push lap. There's lots of places to pull over and let somebody through. Looks like Adri is on his hot lap as well, so we'll keep an eye on him. Stay on board for a brief moment. It looks like he's cut the corner there. And it's good to, you know, that lap's been invalidated with that map now. It's kind of a nice feature. It goes red if the driver invalidates his lap, so you can just move on quickly instead of sitting there waiting to find out. So yeah, the update from Cody's a little late in the game, changing the safety car frequency. Looks like General Porter's going to get a nice slipstream. He runs a bit wide here. Is that going to count still? Yep. The map stayed clear, so I think this is going to count. He's getting a nice tow from Ryan here. It says he's on an out lap, but I don't think he is. I think this is a push lap. Let's see what he can do here. 20.3, so the tow not super effective. Definitely has got to find a bit more time. Oh, let's move. Okay, he moved over clear there. Just saw him swerve at the last second and thought, uh-oh. Looks like we have a Toro Rosso spun. I guess that's JXW. He's the only one out there. Oh, there's two Toro Rossos tonight. Yeah, Lamaro as well, so somebody spun. But, let's get back to Adri. Adri's in the pits. He must not have had a very good lap. Is that Fuzz out there as well? On his warm-up lap. Who do we have? Okay, let's check in with that. Williams. Is that Rob? Yeah, he's just starting his hot lap as well. And a Haas. JFD also just starting his hot lap. Let's stay in this part of the circuit. Check in with everybody. It's like T-Money, another guy. He's just finishing a lap, so we'll stay with T-Money for the moment. $19.8 from T-Money. That puts him up into second. That's a good time. Got a Ferrari coming down the straight. Is it GP? It's not. I'm sorry, I missed that, Ryan. Didn't know who it was from the map. Porter starting another push lap? Looks like he is, yeah. We've got Toro Rosso crossing the line. That's GXW. Alpha and a Haas. So It's probably some Moglis. Epoxy, perhaps. Renault. Is that Gilzo? Gilzo 19.7. I don't know. I think that is an improvement. Then it wasn't a 7.7 or something like that before. Maybe not. No, he's just starting a lap, I think. Interesting. Can't get up to, well, let me go up to the top 5. There we go. That's interesting. L2 wasn't working. It was R2's. Looks like it was stuck. Anyways. Let's find a proper hot lap here. See if we can get on board with somebody just starting one. Looks like Fuzz just finishing up his lap. Stay on board with him for a moment. Oh, heading into the pits. JXW, is he pushing again? No, he's heading into the pits. Foxy's laps are validated, heading into the pits. Is Lamaro giving a tow here, or is he pushing himself? I think he's on a push lap, so let's stay with Lamaro for the moment. Actually found a hot lap right from the start here. Been busy jumping around trying to catch people ending their laps. It's Lamaro here in the Toro Rosso, his teammate JXW. Can't remember if JXW is reserving or not. I'm gonna have to take a look at that roster. I don't really know who's filling in or not here tonight. Lamaro. Oh, just a little too happy on the gas there. Almost lost it. Heading into the first Lesmo here. Runs a little wide. It's okay though. Uses just the right amount of track. Yeah, it's perfect there. Keeps it tidy. Gilzo. I thought I saw someone jump up the top there. So Gilzo's sitting on the same time still. So Lamaro up 2/10 on his previous time. Such a tricky chicane there, the Ascari. Will catch anybody out easy. So Lamaro up 2/10 would improve a few places actually, so if you can add a couple more tenths here, this could be a nice jump. And he heads into the pits. Not enough, I guess. Another driver into the pits behind. Maybe just giving a tow there. Not entirely sure. Just got Mercedes coming down the back straight. This bag of bones. Looks like he's just wrapping up his lap. Throws it into the Parabolica. Just greeting that inside curb. Not using too much on the exit. And heads into the pits as well, so... Not happy with his lap either. Janet, JXW's left. Why is that? He's got a backup invite. Janet going quite slow here. He's caught out in a bad spot trying to let people through, I think. Does he have some kind of issue? He's completely out of fuel, perhaps? I think he is, yeah. Let's check in with that Williams. Yeah, so Janet out of fuel, knowing if he heads into Parabolica while people are on a hot lap, he could very well compromise them, as it's a very high-speed corner. Here goes T-Money on a hot lap. Let's ride on board with T-Money. He's got some traffic pulling out ahead of him. I don't know if these drivers notice, they do. T-Money hurls it into turn 1. Such a tricky place, so easy to lock the brakes up there. Tires are always complaining as you exit as well. It's just a very high load corner, and can really compromise your exit down this straight around the Curva Grande into the chicane. He's approaching the Lesmo now. It doesn't look like T-Money really is pushing here. I don't think he was. Maybe he just made a mistake. RC on a push lap. Let's ride on board with RC. Check if General Porter's pushing. I think General Porter is on an outlap, though we've seen that lie to us in the past. So RC just coming towards the end of the first sector here on the Curva Grande. JXW's made it back in, so that's good news. I don't know if any of these guys down the back straight are pushing. Let's check in with them quickly. Rob's on his out lap. He is not quite in Parabolica. Where's the other driver? T-Money? T-Money pitting. Red Bull starting his lap. So we'll get back to RC. It says RC's on an out lap again. I know that's not true. I'm watching across the line. I don't really understand how this spectator system just doesn't really work right. It kind of lies to you sometimes, and it makes it really hard for, you know, if you're commentating, especially alone. It's hard to keep track of everybody, especially if the out lap thing isn't updating properly. Like, you don't really know who's on a push lap. You don't know what RC's time is. I have no idea if he's up or not. Let's see what he does here. Oh, he goes on a provisional pole. Edges out Gilzo by just under a tenth there. 119.6 from RC. So, good lap. Is that Porter coming around, finish his hot lap? He is. Looks like he's up half a second. That's going to improve him nicely. Let's see what he can do here. Looking to sneak into that top three. Can he do it? Help his teammate out up at the front. Porter on to provisional pole. Wow, edges out RC. Great time from the Racing Points there. Excellent stuff. Is that Gilzo? Gilzo, I think just starting his hot lap now, yeah. So, maybe we'll stick on board with Gilzo here, see what he can do, see if he can punch back at the Racing Points. General Porter and RC edging him out for the top two positions at the moment. T-Money just trailing slightly off, and Rob 2K in the mix as well, so going to be very competitive in that top six tonight. Everybody putting up some pretty close times. Gilzo makes a mistake there, touches the gravel. That's going to cost him quite a bit. Just going to have to find a way to make up a little extra time here. See what he does at the end of the second sector. He's up at 10th and a half, and that's pretty much on pole, so if he can make this stick to the end of the lap. Oh, Gilzo! And he's off, and the wheel is off. Gilzo is out. Just knew he needed that little extra bit, and ended up costing himself. The wheel is off. Gilzo is out. Let's check in with that Red Bull, see what he is doing. Smitsky is off. Don't know, the other Red Bull, Crucio, must be crossing the line now. Looks like he's just putting up a hot lap. This looks like it might be a good time. Let's see what he can do. 20.8, so pretty good improvement for Crucio. A 20.8 in most of our tiers is actually not a terrible time, but tonight has put him in 15th. So, not much you can do about that. You know, you've got top 7 inside the 19s right now. Gilzo slipping down to 5th. A lot of people edging out Gilzo, and Jinnit goes up into the 19 with a 19.2. Wow. How that? That's a statement lap. Improves by 2/10. I mean, these are fast times to begin with, and for Jinnit to be 2/10 up on those times, like, I'd say that's pretty impressive. Smitsky's retired. Oh, we've got a spinner, that's Adri. Looks like he's gone off in the Lesmos. There's a car coming around. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way. Oh, that Toro Rosso driver. I'm not sure who that was, but he ran quite wide and nearly ended up in the back of Adri anyways, even with Adri waiting. That was a close call. Yeah, it's going to be interesting with the rain in the race. I forgot about that. So, field, a lot of yellow flags at the end here. With JFD retiring, did he lose it somewhere, or did he just go in the pits? That'll be it, I believe. So Lamaro putting up a hot lap still. Lamaro improves a few places, so... Well, I think that's it. Let's go through the order quickly. Jinnit on pole. General Porter takes second. Adri slides into third, but I think he ended up losing the car. don't know if he retired on track or if he made it back to the pits or crashed out. I'm not too sure what happened there, but Adri in third, RC in fourth, Gilzo in fifth. That's a bit of a shocker. It looked like he was in command most of the session and then just kind of bobbled his final run and ended up having to push too hard and then ended up crashing. So Gilzo in fifth, Rob in sixth, T-Money in seventh, Bag of Bones in eighth, JFD is in ninth, Zamoglis in 10th. I think that was Coxie in 11th. Checking out the rest quickly here. Yeah, Coxie in 11th. Smitsky in Red Bull in 12th. Lamaro in 13th in that Toro Rosso. Fuzz in 14th, so not a great session from Fuzz. Again, like I said, 20.7, not a terrible time, really. Like, it's just, the guys ahead of you are just so damn fast here. JXW in 15th, Crucio in 16th, GP Call in 17th, Ryan in 18th, Beck in 19th, and Barton in 20th. So Barton and Beck didn't put up any times, just decided to start at the back. Not the worst idea for Monza. Tends to be a bit of a mess into turn 1 most races, but hopefully we had pretty good luck for tier 1 and tier 2, so hopefully the EU tier goes as well. We don't have any issues early. It's going to be raining, though. It's going to be sloppy. Oh, look at that. You love to see it. So, this should be a fun one for us. I'd say it'll be pretty entertaining. It's going to be a risky one. I'm assuming this is probably going to be through the whole race, so might not even see any pit stops if people can keep it clean. Looks like Beck has started the race already. Not entirely sure we were supposed to start that quickly. I'm not. Usually we have a little bit of a minute or two for people to find their strategy, make sure everything's on point, get in touch with their teammate, make sure they're not overlapping pit stops, stuff like that. So we usually give people at least 2 minutes. I prefer a little longer, but everybody's different. Looks formation laps underway. Looks like some people... Is everybody here? It looks like everybody's here. Just check down the grid quickly. Make sure everyone's moving. Yep. Okay. Well, everything's good then. I don't know that we need... No, everybody's on inters. Okay, so not too bad. Interesting. I feel we're going to see a lot of safety cars tonight. We'll keep the telemetry off. I don't think it's going to be that important, really, in this kind of weather. Try to keep the screen less cluttered. The map, I gotta say, it's nice, but it's kind of in a shitty spot. It's not the greatest place for a map. I would prefer if you could move things around. I mean, if there was some sort of user interface that you could control. Like, the map in the bottom left would be ideal, really. Sorry, that whole side of the screen's ruined already anyways, right? I mean, why not? Sorry, I'm just checking my audio before the race starts to make sure we're all good. Everything's sounding nice and clear. Yeah, this is exciting. Yeah, we started a second tier, really, in the first place, because we thought we had a lot of guys kind of waiting in the wings for seats, and we were like, well, if we just recruit and get a few more guys, we'll have enough for a second tier. And then suddenly, you know, we've got guys dipping in from the EU, have friends in other EU leagues, and all of a sudden we had the numbers for it, so here we are. It's the first broadcast. I think there was a... Excuse me. I think there was a social race last weekend. Obviously, no one was around to broadcast it, but this will be our first official broadcast for EU. Next week will be the first official race. Not too sure who's going to be running the broadcast. If I'm around, I will. And we've got a spinner. There's a Moglis on the formation lap. Caught on stream, too. Always fun. Never want to be... Never want to get caught doing that. We'll get him later for that one. Alright. Janet on pole. It's raining. They're on the Inters. We're at Monza. It's the first EU race. This one doesn't count, but it's for bragging rights. People are looking to make some statements tonight, so we'll see what we can do. Hopefully it's a good, clean, tidy race. Everybody out on those Inters, as I said. Yellow flag. The lights are on. We've got all 4 lights, 5 lights. And they're off. Gets a good start, it looks like. Adri also looks like he got a pretty good launch. It looks like he's struggling for traction now, though. Oh, we've got someone in the wall already. Who is that? Dropping down the field. It looks like Bag of Bones. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe just got nudged by someone who didn't notice him. Everybody looks to be fairly clean through here. Got a couple guys cutting corners. Nothing too crazy. Porter got a 10-second for cutting the corner there. I have to imagine that wasn't intentional, so we can obviously review that after the race. Turn 1's a tricky one. Oh, and Porter and Jinnit off. They tagged into the chicane. Oh, these drivers trying to turn around with all the traffic coming through at a terrible time to try and turn your car around. Coxey, oh, what a mess. We've got to have a safety car, yeah, for sure. Virtual safety car. So Porter's still in the race. Coxey's retired. I believe he has been, I think he, in that Renault, must have crashed into Porter. This Porter was maybe returning to the circuit there. If you look at where, yeah, look where Coxey's car is parked on the map. Porter might have caught him while he was returning to the track. Yeah, so obviously virtual safety car. Let's get back to the front and see what we got up here. RC's now in first. Oh, Adri has passed RC under the safety thing. He's had to lift, and that's really compromised him. So now the race is back underway, and Adri is in a terrible spot here. Just had no speed. Or we still have a safety car here. Has someone else gone off now? What is going on? And it seems like everybody is holding back. But all I see is yellow flag. I don't see any warning of safety car here. I don't understand what's going on here. And Smitsky is off. And he's in a terrible spot here. He just gets it turned around. Whew. Really needed to go into the pits. I don't know if he could have there technically. Man, what a mess to start this race. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here, but Zamoglis is out. He must have been the one off in Ascari. And anyway, we've got a 3-way scrap up here at the front. RC, Jinnit, and Gilzo, all these guys nose to tail on the restart here. And the conditions are treacherous. It is really coming down here. We've lost a couple drivers. We've had a couple guys drop to the back, getting tangled in incidents. Yeah, not the cleanest start to things. I don't see anything too bad. I don't think anything's worth... Ooh, Jinnit makes a big mistake there, and Gilzo does well to avoid him. Jinnit smartly recovers. Adri's all over him, though. What is going to happen here? Into the chicane. Adri and Jinnit, who can outlast the brakes. They go side by side. Good racing from these two. Jinnit retakes the place, but he's running quite wide on the exit. Adri's going to have a good run on him into the Parabolica now as well. No, I don't think he's close enough. No. But good side-by-side driving from these two in the rain in Ascari. Quite unfortunate there. I think Porter just lost a bit of downforce behind Jinnit, and he just slid into him. And they both got pushed straight into the chicane sideways there, and then obviously, you know, he drifts back onto the track trying to recover, and it's carnage. Really bad luck for Jinnit. He's having a pretty good race. Adri is really pressuring him here, but if Jinnit can hold down the fort, he can get back up there and start scrapping again. Adri around the outside in the Curva Grande in the wet. A bit of a dry line forming there, but not massively advantageous at this point. We've got Fuzz all over the back of Lamaro, and then we've got Barton and Crucio scrapping at the back here as well, too. Lamaro gets a 5-second penalty for cutting the corner, and he's off. Oh my, he has made a huge mistake there. What has happened? Surely some sort of safety car will be coming out for that, I feel. I don't know what happened there. Lamaro missed, it looked he missed the corner trying to scrap with Fuzz, and then just decided to keep going, perhaps, and then lost the car. Maybe he thought, oh, I've already cut the corner, I'll just keep driving. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there, but Gilzo is now pressuring RC into the Parabolica. He's going to be looking for a way through down the main street. If he can get a really good exit here, he'll have that slipstream advantage. That's all he'll be getting, though, in this wet weather. There is no DRS. RC runs very wide there. I'm not sure if that was intentional to break the stream, perhaps. Gilzo sets the fastest lap again. Adri with the fastest lap now, too, 1:33.3. Can Gilzo get him on the brakes? I don't think he can. RC parks that car in the center into the chicane. Yeah, Gilzo, he goes with that switchback instead. He's got a much better exit into the Curva Grande here. See if Gilzo can find a way through over the next couple corners. RC under immense pressure here. And it's not going to get any easier because Adri is trailing behind as well. RC looks like he's drifted into the corner there. Gilzo's had to lift because he almost tagged him. Into the Lesmos now. Gilzo still all over the gearbox of RC. Can't find a way through. We've got another scrap at the back there. Barton is catching Fuzz. Jump to that quickly to see if Barton can find a way through on Fuzz. Don't think he can. It's a bit of a tricky spot they're approaching. Gilzo and RC still only 3/4 tenths between those two at the front. Martin's got a much better run here, but I don't think he's going to get close enough. No, he won't. So let's get back to the front here, and we'll see if Gilzo can find a way through on RC down the main straight. This is going to be... I don't know if he's as close as last lap. Certainly gets a better exit than last lap, but so does RC, so... Not sure this is going to be it for Gilzo in this run. Barton, though. Very good opportunity on Fuzz here. We've got a yellow flag in the Lesmo. It looks like that is... Beck, perhaps? Bones? I'm not sure. No, that's got to be Bones because it's way back there. Comes Barton. That huge pace advantage down the straight. Can he get it done on the brakes? Sends it down the inside. Just got to ride that chicane a little bit. Has to give a little more space there, but both drivers keep it clean. I think Fuzz just struggled on the throttle there on the exit because he's lost another place to General Porter as well. Maybe just bobbled it there, but Barton got him clean. Get back to the front. Gilzo now pressuring RC. Adri also very close to the back of these two, so... Adri has to be on his toes a little bit because if something happens with these two drivers in front, he could easily get collected in it. Oh, Gilzo taking a gamble over the curb there, and it might pay off. He's got a much better exit down this back straight. This might be his best chance. Is he going to send it into Parabolica? He breaks early, and I think he's got the traction advantage here down the inside on Parabolica, and he does. Gilzo makes the move down the inside on Parabolica, and I think he's come out just in front here. They're almost side by side down the main straight. Who's going to be braver on the brakes into the chicane? Gilzo with the slight lead. He's got about a car. His car's just ahead. Side by side into the chicane. Gilzo goes very deep. He's compromised his run. RC going to come back with that switchback. And RC on the outside into Curva Grande here. I think he's got a bit of an advantage on the traction. So he's just lost that advantage, though. And now Adri all over the back of him. Adri going to give RC something to worry about. RC still taking a peek at Gilzo, but not quite close enough. Now Jinnit right back in the mix as well. So Jinnit only 4 tenths off. These guys are basically nose to tail for second and third. Without that DRS around this track, it is fairly difficult to get the overtakes done. Most guys are running a pretty similar setup wing-wise here. Not the greatest camera angle I've ever seen. RC still very close into Ascari, but it looks like Gilzo... Oh, RC is off into the gravel. He's coming back on. Oof. A little dicey there, but RC manages to save it. I wonder if Adri maybe just lifted just a bit just to be safe to make sure that RC returned to the track and didn't collect anybody with him. So Adri now around the outside into Parabolica. Squeezes RC to that inside. Makes him... I think about it a little bit, and then Adri does take the place. RC, huge bobble. He saves it. Wow, great job from RC to save that. I thought he was done. Jinnit has moved into third because of that, and now JFD with a shot on RC into the chicane here. RC, you know, suddenly from first to fourth, and now under pressure and possibly sliding into fifth, and yeah, terrible entry into the chicane there, and it's cost him as JFD takes the place. So now RC in fifth, but he does have a bit of a gap behind him, so this might be a good time for RC to relax a little bit, maybe just manage those tires for a lap or two, and then think about attacking again. Porter picks up another penalty for corner cutting. Warnings, perhaps, not too sure. I missed exactly what it was. Jinnit all over the back of Adri now, so Jinnit, potential threat for the win in this race here. If he does make it through on Adri the next couple laps, he could go up and start hounding Gilzo. Gilzo not really scampering away as quick as he needs to. Looks like Crucio and JXW perhaps having a bit of a scrap here. Yeah, looks like I just missed that. Let's get back to the front, see if Jinnit can find a way through. He cannot. This is into Parabolica, so another shot for Jinnit at the end of the straight here. I think he's a little too far off. I don't think he's going to gain the straight line speed advantage he needs to close that gap. He's close, but not close enough. Smitsky and Lamaro. It looks like Lamaro made a bit of a mistake. I was just going to go watch that battle, and then suddenly Smitsky made it through. T-Money pressuring GP Colin as well. Tier 2 competitors. They were pretty close. Pretty close on Thursday in Monaco. This guy's had a pretty good race. JFD has made it ahead of Jinnit there. Has Jinnit made a mistake then? I think he has. Not too sure what happened there. Jinnit obviously has lost a few seconds there and another place to JFD. So Jinnit not having the greatest of races tonight. Obviously got nudged through the chicane there. Nothing he could do about that. Not his fault whatsoever. Got caught in a bunch of traffic trying to return to the track, and now has lost a place on either an error or maybe perhaps contact again, as he was pressuring Adri quite heavily. Now what this does is it puts Gilzo in a spot where he can now start to manage the gap behind to Adri, because it's really Adri 1.6 off, and then JFD is another 2 seconds behind. So Adri puts up that fastest lap though, so he's not letting Gilzo get away here. The gap isn't really growing or shrinking though, so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Jinnit and RC both within a tenth of each other. Sorry, both within a tenth of the driver ahead. Jinnit within a tenth of JFD. And realistically, Jinnit's pace is better than maybe anybody's tonight here in the wet. It was moving up the field quite quickly, but stuck in fourth. You know, I looks like he maybe had another mistake there because he's lost another bit of time to JFD. So these conditions are tricky. It's hard to keep the car perfect. What we do have now is quite a few gaps starting to form through the field. So hopefully this trend doesn't continue and the gaps don't get much bigger, because this can become quite a boring race early if everybody starts to separate more and more. Right now we've got Smisky looking for a way through on Lamaro into the Parabolica here. Smisky just trying to be nice and gentle on that throttle, see if he can get it rolling. Take a crack at Lamaro here. Lamaro's 19 seconds behind JXW. Oh, huge dive bomb there from Smitsky. I think that's... yeah. The move wasn't really on there. I would have definitely recommended against that. It's probably ended up costing him more damage than anything. Obviously he's hit Lamaro, but more than likely he's damaged his own wing in the process, and Lamaro into Smiski went into the side pod of Lamaro, so Lamaro's car should be fine. Nonetheless, though, you don't want to be getting smashed into by your on-track rivals, especially in the first race. So, something to take a look at. That was lap 9 and 10. Fuzz pressuring T-Money now. He's going to be looking for a way through soon. We've got Beck all over the back of Rob, and then RC all over the back of JFD, so Jinnit. I'm not... What happened? How did Jinnit end up back in second? Oh, we've got a safety car. We've got a full safety car out. It looks like Ryan has binned it in the Lesmos. I think he's, yeah, there he is. Off in the wall. Yeah, tire torn right off. There it is. Stricken Ferrari of Ryan. He's out of the race. Obviously safety car. Look at where he's parked. Yeah, you really can't argue with that. General Porter picks up a speeding under the safety car penalty. Drive-through penalty at that, too, so he'll have to serve that. Otherwise he'll be disqualified. Probably should serve it now. I would. If I was Porter, I would serve the drive-through now. I don't know if you can choose whether you serve it or not when you go in, but get it done now. We've got a few drivers pitting. Looks like JFD back. Some drivers are going to stay out and go for that track position instead. Ryan has left the session. Barton looking for that track position. Is he going to get it on Bones? I think he does. Is that going to count for Barton, or is he going to have to give that back? Oh, Bones is lap. My bad. Yeah. Yeah, so quite a few drivers pitting. Let's take a look at the stops and see who's gone in. Obviously, the intervals don't really matter now. So they're going to end up behind a snake, behind the safety car. Where is the safety car at the moment? Has it picked up the pack at the front? There it has, yeah. It's like Gilzo and the gang at the front behind the safety car. So, not entirely sure how Jinnit ended up in second. I wonder if Adri must have made a mistake or something, because he is also behind RC as well now. So, it must have been Adri making a mistake. Maybe JFD caught out by it, because JFD has dropped back, or maybe JFD just pit. Can't remember if he was in front or not before he pit. Yeah, so our first safety car of the night, not too bad really. Lap 11, I mean, we got a shot of Ryan's car sitting in the exit of the first Lesmo there in the barrier with the wheel ripped off, and I would say 80% of the track was obstructed there, so great job really with the safety car coming out there. That's exactly the type of situation it should come out in. I think it's been a little hit or miss the first couple weeks with this new safety car thing. It's come out a couple times where it's like, I don't know, but this time was right, so it's good to see. Let's review the order quickly. We've got Gilzo in first, Jinnit's in second, RC's in third, Adri's in fourth, Rob's in fifth, Barton's in sixth, and then JFD is in seventh with a pit stop. Is the safety car coming in, or are they just bunching up? It looks like the safety car's just going quite slow. JFD's in seventh, T-Money is in eighth, Beck's in ninth, GP Colin is in 10th. GP Colin hasn't stopped and is in 10th. Yeah, going to be under threat from the other drivers around him, but at this point, not a bad decision because he is sitting in the points at the moment. Track position seems to be pretty important tonight, but I would think with the amount of close driving we've seen, having fresher tires will be a huge advantage. You know, getting a better exit around a corner in the wet. It's huge when you're trying to find a way through. So, I think the guys that have gone into the pits are going to be seeing a big advantage here. I mean, again, if you look at the characters that didn't pit, you got Barton, very fast, hasn't pit, and Rob, Adri, all those guys very fast at the front that haven't pit. So the fact that they're on older tires might not be a massive problem for them. They might be able to still get away from these guys behind. But all the guys that have pit behind, that's pretty much the entire field, except for GP Colin. All these guys are going to be quite racy on the restart, so. I would imagine the safety car will be in this lap. Should be going racing again. See how Gilzo does restarting it. We've had some issues with safety car restarts over the past few weeks, but Gilzo is a veteran. He should be fine. Get the race restarted. Leave a nice gap behind. Yeah, just noticing Coxie. Yeah, I think it might have been Porter. Just noticed your comment there. Someone T-boned you. I think Porter and Jinnit collided. They slid into the chicane, and then they both came back to the track. And I think Porter pulled out right in front of you, and you just slammed right into him. That's what it seemed like to me. Or either that or someone slammed into you trying to avoid Porter. Either way, not a great decision to drive back onto the track there on the first lap. Because caused quite a bit of a mess there. I get it though, you know, you're in panic mode. You're in second place and you just hit the guy in first. And you guys were clearly quicker than most of the other cars behind, and then suddenly your race is about to slip away in the first lap or two of the race. Like, you have that moment of like desperation. You don't even think. Sometimes you just throw the car back on the circuit and hope that you don't hit anybody, and because you know if you sit there and wait, then the whole pack's going to go through pretty much. But nonetheless, it's not the right choice. Looks like the safety car is in. Gilzo has bunched the pack up nicely here. Safety car's crossed the line. I think Gilzo's clear to hit it. Safety car's well into the pits now. It's a good job from Gilzo getting it restarted there. That's how you do it. Jinnit all over the back of him, though. So Gilzo's done well restarting the race, but he's left himself compromised to an attack from Jinnit. Jinnit has a chance here to send it. I don't think he's close enough. He knows how good Gilzo can be on those brakes, so... yeah. Just couldn't find a way through there. Everybody else looks like they've done well into the first turn. I don't see any other massive issues at the moment. Everybody looks like they're getting through okay. Lamaro maybe limping along a little bit there. It doesn't look like he's got much pace at the moment. Not entirely sure what's going on with Lamaro at the moment. Let's get back to the front. Jinnit here, pressuring Gilzo still. Just trying to keep an eye on these other gaps here. T-Money, those fresh tires, stuck behind JFD, looking for a way through. JFD bobbled it there, and I think T-Money is going to get him. Oh, T-Money! Whew! Doing a little drift around the outside there, looking like rallycross, but managed to save the car and didn't collect anybody in the process. He's lucky to get away with that one. Got a yellow flag, somebody off. I think that's Rob. Rob has lost it in Ascari, or he's been contacted perhaps. Missed that. Got two drivers ahead battling. It's Porter and GP. There's another two up the front there. JFD and Beck very close together as well. JFD trying to get by Bones. Yeah, the lap car with the safety car thing really is an issue. They gotta sort that out. It's a pain in the ass. General Porter, not quite close enough to get through here. How to think about it. I took a look at T-Money, but Porter's had a bit of a rough race tonight, but say he's sitting in 9th right now, and he's got 8th, 7th, and 6th, and 5th, all within reach just in front of him. He could end up with a pretty good result tonight if he can make his way through here. Porter's locked up. He's gone in. Oh, huge crash there. Porter locked up and then got on the grass, and he ended up colliding with T-Money. T-Money just a victim at that point. Nothing he could do about that. And it's a terrible place to try to recover the car as well. Stuck trying to get turned around. Just obviously probably got wing damage now. Yeah. Terrible luck for T-Money there. General Porter's been... certainly hasn't been his best tonight, I'll say that. Just a couple times, just losing the car under braking. And the first time he caught Ginnett, it was just so on the edge, and it was just really just kind of bad luck for Porter. I would say the second one there, though, was a little bit dicey. It looked like he was trying to maybe go for an inside lunge, maybe hoping to carry the pace he needed, but ended up snapping the back end and touching the grass while recovering, and that sent him straight through the chicane and then into the side of T-Money there. So really bad luck for T-Money. Nothing he could have done about that. Bad luck for Porter too, really. I mean, has it stopped raining? I think it has. I just noticed that it stopped raining. Is Porter perhaps going for dry tires? Nope, he's got out on the inters. It has stopped raining. Simon, dry soon. It looks like it's going to be, yeah. Oh, we've got some guys on the mediums. Let's see how they're doing. I just noticed that these guys have put dry tires on. Right now, Fuzz looks like he's... see how Fuzz does here. If he can overtake... Rob and Fuzz wheel to wheel here. Rob... looks like Rob's struggling for traction, but ultimately does have a bit more grip than Fuzz. I can't really tell at the moment. I think it's close enough to switch overtime that you got to dive in at this point. Yeah, Rob looks like he's got more traction. He's braking a bit earlier, and that's caused Fuzz to hit him, but I think it's time for dries. Yeah. Yeah, Rob's really getting away now, so let's see what we got at the front here. Oh, we got Joe Zoe and shit side by side into the pit lane. That was cheeky. Almost overtook him into the pit entry there. Oh, Beck's retired. Has he caught the pit entry barrier? What has happened to Beck? I don't know where Beck's car is. But yeah, everybody is into the pits, so we're out on the dries, and we have a safety car. Oh my, the timing of that. Where has Beck's car been parked? Like, how did he just go wide into Parabolica, perhaps? I don't see it anywhere. Does anybody see it? Maybe at the end of the straight here? It's in a Mercedes. I'm having a hard time tracking it on the track as well. I don't see it on the map anywhere. Anyways, another safety car. So that seems like... yeah, I don't know where the car was to begin with. I don't really understand what happened there. Maybe the car was in a bad spot and then was cleared before I found it. Something like that. That's maybe caused the safety car, but what this has done has really, it's just not really given anybody a massive advantage here. It's just kind of let everybody go into the pits and get onto the dries, because as soon as they pit for the dry tires, the safety car was deployed and it was right there to collect the leader right away. So nobody really gained a huge advantage here. JXW and Rob, I suppose, gained a bit of an advantage because they were already on the dries, so they just kind of filtered into the field. But that safety car came out and collected the pack so quickly that they didn't really have a chance to gain anything while they were on the dries and everybody else was getting around. So anyway, not too shabby. I think JXW sitting in 8th, not too bad. Obviously there's been some incidents tonight, but all those guys at the back there now should have fresh tires and fresh wings, and it's dry, so hopefully we'll get some pretty good racing for the last, probably it's only going to be about 8 laps or so by the time the safety car comes in. Maybe only 7. Hopefully no more safety cars either. But, yeah, definitely some things to look at tonight. Definitely saw some questionable things. I wouldn't say anything terribly sloppy or anything terribly reckless, but definitely some stuff we would prefer to avoid, I think. Obviously, tricky conditions and stuff. You can't really blame people for catching grass and losing the car. It could happen to anybody, really. But people are going to submit their incidents, and we're all going to take a look at them and discuss them, and we'll go through it all. We'll get a better look at everything, because sometimes on the broadcast it can look a certain way, and it's not necessarily the truth. So, I don't want to make any presumptions, but I definitely saw some things out there tonight that will definitely show up in the incident reports. At least in my opinion. Alright. Just keep an eye on Gilzo. Is the safety car coming in? Usually lets you know about now. 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits under the safety car. Crucio. That's super unfortunate, my man. Sitting in 7th. Picking up penalties under the safety car. That's going to hurt your race for sure. I mean, the field's going to be so close at the end. You know, 10-second penalty is going to be very painful. Safety car in this lap. Unbelievable. You can't do that. Okay. You know what? That was ridiculous. Like, the last second they pulled it in. Gilzo didn't even have time to bunch the field up. You can't really blame him there. Adri sends it. I don't think he's going to get that done, though. Gilzo goes very deep to defend that. Definitely going to pick up a warning for cutting that. I don't think he got a penalty for it, but he definitely would have got a warning. Oh, side by side here. Are they going to go through the chicane side by side? I can't tell. It's a terrible camera angle here. Adri's been compromised. Now Jinnit down the inside into the first Lesmo. I think Jinnit's got that done. So Jinnit looking very racy here. Definitely feels like he should have been in first place probably, and he was, and was taken out. Now it looks like he's on a mission to get back there. He's got something to prove tonight. So it looks like we're going to have Gilzo, Jinnit, and Adri duking it out for the top 3. JFD and Barton are also sniffing at the podium here. RC not far off, and then Crucio and JXW on the mediums just behind. So they'll have a bit of an advantage towards the end of the race, but I think these guys are going to be so quick over the next few laps that they're probably going to be pulling away before those guys in the mediums have a crack at it. Jinnit with a very good exit here. We're not going to have DRS for a couple laps, but Jinnit does seem to have that pace advantage. Is he going to send it? He isn't going to send it. Not quite close enough. With that DRS, though, I think Gilzo's a sitting duck. So we'll see what happens here. We've got a bunch of drivers here side by side through the Lesmos. Or sorry, through Curva Grande there. Apologies. Now heading into the Lesmos. Porter, Fuzz, Rob, and T-Money all very close together. We've got RC all over the back of Barton here. Gilzo is slowly growing that gap, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. We don't know what Jinnit is just patiently waiting, biding his time, maybe for the DRS. So he's got a bit of a toe here, but not quite enough. See if he can get a little rough on the curb there. That's going to cost him. Not the exit he was hoping for, but I think next lap we'll get DRS, so Jinnit's got to keep within a second here, and it's time for Gilzo to turn it up. See if he can build that gap to a second before the DRS kicks in. Gilzo with a very good exit there. He's just leaping forward. GP and JXW side by side into the chicane here. It looks like JXW was pushed a bit wide by GP there. Surely not intentional by any means, but not necessarily fair from what I saw. But, oh, they touched there. That's Smitsky and JXW. They bumped on the straight. Had a good overhead shot of it. Oh, and then Porter rear ends Smitsky there. Smitsky just kind of slowed through the chicane, and Porter, carrying so much pace, ended up ramming him. Yeah, just got a JXW and Smitsky there. I don't really know what happened, but it looked like they both drifted towards each other at the same time. It doesn't really look like either. It wasn't one person or the other. It was both of them. So DRS should be enabled now. I don't know if Jennett's going to get it here. I think he will. Nope. Oh, he does have DRS, yes. I didn't notice it enabled at the bottom, but yeah, he does have DRS now, so. Look at that. Behind, we've got Barton and RC side by side into the chicane. His brakes are glowing, and RC looks like he found a way through. Nice and clean there. Bag of Bones Ghost just hovering in the middle. Obviously, Bag of Bones still racing, but JFD has made a move on Adri around the outside into the chicane. And now we'll have the lead ahead of... Sorry, not the lead, but he'll be the lead car in front of Adri and, into the Lesmos. So, JFD makes a move, and now Adri looking to fight back. I think Adri's going to have a better run down the straight with that DRS. Is Adri going to get this done and do a Scari? I think he will. He looks like he's well clear. So, good move from Adri there to get in front. And now Jinnit. Jinnit looks like he's very close to Gilzo. It's as close as he's been. He's going to have that DRS on the main straight. Let's see if he can use it to his advantage and get the move done. This will be huge for Jinnit if he can get in front of Gilzo and win this race. That'd be a big statement. Jinnit with that slipstream. Gilzo looks like he's just got plenty of juice left, and Jinnit just not close enough. He can't close. JFD looking for another move on Adri here. They're side by side into the chicane, and then we've got Barton, and is that Barton and RC as well behind. Adri gets the move done. Or sorry, Adri was back in front. JFD now does get the move done. Switched places so many times over the last lap. I can't remember who was supposed to be in front. But JFD finds a way through in Curva Grande and into the chicane. Barton has lost a bit of ground to RC here. RC is looking to extend that gap so that he can fight off the DRS advantage. RC can work on catching Adri ahead, who is not really letting JFD get away either, so the podium's still up for grabs for any of that 3, 4, 5, 6. Really, any of those guys could get up into that third spot, but obviously third place, 5.8 seconds off Gilzo and Jinnit. They're having quite a scrap here at the front, so they're really pushing each other, and you look at the gap they've formed behind. These two drivers driving excellently. Jinnit has a huge advantage down the straight this time. He's got that DRS, he's got the pace, he's got the inside line, he's out-broke Gilzo. I think he's taken the lead of this race. He has. Jinnit into first. Now, can he do enough to shake off Gilzo and stop him from clawing his way back into first with that DRS? This is hammer time now for Jinnit. He needs to put the throttle down and see if he can build up enough of a gap to win this thing. It's going to be a very exciting finish. We've only got 4 laps to go here. RC now pressuring Adri, who is starting to lose touch with JFD just a tad. So JFD looking like he could be on for a podium here if he can just edge out that gap a little bit more, get out of that DRS range. It looks like he has. Adri has the DRS, I think, at the moment, but JFD is on the cusp of breaking that. Wow, we got a couple drivers back here, 3 and 4 tenths apart. Is that Fuzz and JXW pressuring T-Money now? So into a Scari, we're going to have Fuzz with the slipstream and the DRS, but T-Money also carrying that DRS, so no one with a real advantage there. Looks like someone might have gone kind of wide there. Zenith has grown that gap, but Gilza with that slipstream and that battery really closing in with that DRS, but he's not close enough to strike, so I'm not looking at the telemetry here. I don't really know who's got what left in the tank. You can see it on the wheel if you want to look yourself. I don't really know who's got what. I don't want to reveal anything to the drivers in case they are listening to the stream, so I'm just going to let them race. And yeah, it's one thing. It's nice to analyze and speculate, but I know a lot of guys tune in while they're racing, and sometimes you can give someone an advantage if they know the other guy's running out of juice or he has plenty left. So I'm just going to let these guys duke it out, and they can figure it out themselves. It's a really good scrap here, though. Gilzo, he's on the cusp of losing that DRS, but he just has enough still. Really, really closes with that DRS advantage. Definitely seems to have a bit of an advantage on the straight line speed, but he's struggling through the corners a bit more than Zenith, so be interesting to see how that shakes out. Crucio with that DRS on General Porter. Is he going to make a move into Ascari? I think he is, but he has to back out of it. He wasn't going to get that move done, and you can't go side by side into that corner. Crucio with a much better run here into Parabolica. General Porter's going to have to fight back. And Crucio is just going to decide to tuck in and go for the slipstream here, which is probably a smart move. No sense in sending it into Parabolica. Yeah. Porter looks like he got a better exit, though. And Crucio's got a lot of ground to make up with that DRS. See if he could do it. Not too sure it's going to be on here. Gilzo's very close to Zenith as well up at the front, but they're already moving through the first part of the sector now and towards the Lesmos. We'll get back to that in a brief moment, as long as Crucio's found a way through. So Zenith is looking for a way to grow that gap. He's only got a lap and a half left. He can keep Gilzo behind. He can win this race, and he can really make a statement of his contention for the EU tier. Looks like we got quite a few guys very close here. Let's get to that broadcast view. T-Money all over the back of Smitsky here, and then Fuzz and JXW trailing very closely behind. We've also got Adri pressuring JFD again, and then RC is all over the back of Adri too. RC and Adri looking for a way through on JFD, so that podium up for grabs once again. It looked like JFD was getting kind of comfortable there, but he's lost a lot of ground here. Zenith's really grown that gap at the front. He's got it almost to a second now. He's going to shake that DRS right on the last lap, perhaps. Adri's got that DRS advantage. RC will also have that DRS. And JXW is out of the race. He must have crashed. Adri with the DRS down the inside. Oh, JFD defended that astutely, and he moved at the very last second to defend and really threw Adri's line off, and he just couldn't get the grip he needed into the corner to make the move. So good job from JFD to pick the right moment to throw his defense out on the track there. That's really compromised Adri, and now RC all over the back of him. RC picks up 3 seconds there. Oh, don't know how that's going to shake out for the guys in front. I'm not sure if they're carrying penalties either, but it looks like Zenith. Oh, RC! Huge bobble there, and he runs very wide, and he's drifting around the corner there. He's fighting with everything he's got to try and find a way through here, but I think he's ultimately cost himself too much time. Adri now has a shot at JFD. If he can get a better exit out of Ascari here, he could make a run into the Parabolica, but I don't think he's got it. JFD, JFD with a very bad exit. If Adri had been a bit closer, I think he might have had a chance here. I think that's going to be it, though. Bag of Bones looks like he's binned it. Zenith has picked up a 5-second penalty for an unserved penalty. It looks like he had quite a few of them, actually. Adri very close, but not close enough. JFD had a penalty. Oh, JFD carrying a lot of penalties, and so was Zenith. Zenith has lost a ton of time here. They had quite the gap, and he's actually dropped all the way to 4th. So he won the race on track, but carrying so many penalties, he drops off the podium. That's a bit surprising, actually. So Gilzo, the actual winner. Adri in 2nd. RC in 3rd. Even with RC's penalty, he still jumped Ginett, even with that gap and everything. So I'm not sure. Maybe Ginett was carrying a penalty that wasn't quite deserved at some point there. It seems like he had quite a few there. I don't know. There's no way he cut that many corners. But that's it. It's our first EU broadcast. We'll go through the order and then we'll wrap things up. I'm not going to do any interviews tonight. I'm not too sure. That'll be something we do moving forward. We'll have to touch base with the guys and see. But I'll run you through the order quickly before we wrap things up. There he is, Gilzo, top of the podium. Great drive from him. Looks like he didn't win the race, and then suddenly he won by quite a margin, so everyone's worst fears have become reality. Adri, the Spaniard, takes second. RC, Northern Ireland, takes third. And then Ginett and Barton, the Brits, fourth and fifth. We've got JFD, the American, sitting in sixth. We've got the English Rob, 2K, seventh. T-Money, American, 8th. We've got the Italian Crucio, 2000, finishes 9th. GB Collin, another American driver, in 10th. General Porter, Northern Ireland, he's 11th. Fuzz, the Indian driver, drives all over the continent. He's in 12th. Lamaro and Smitsky, the Brits, 13th, 14th. JXW, Bag of Bones, Beck, Ryan, Smuggles, and Coxey round out the rest of the field. I had to wrap it up. I spent too much time talking about people's nationalities. That's it. So, that was the exhibition race. That was Italy. It was the first broadcast of our EU tier. So, next weekend it goes for real. Next weekend is China. Next week is China, really. The whole week of Zenith Online Racing is going to be China. So, Tier 1 will go Monday night at 8 p.m. as usual. Tier 2, Thursday night at 8 p.m. And then next Sunday will be the debut for the EU tier. The Chinese Grand Prix will kick off at 10 p.m. UK time. It'll be 5 p.m. Eastern time in North America. Hope you tune in. I hope somebody's here to broadcast the race for you guys so you can tune in, but I'm sure we'll have somebody at least. And thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you this week at Zenith Online Racing. Cheers.